Hey, it's a special surprise holiday version of the podcast. Dan, play the opening theme. We gotta get it. Just tape it. Oh, look at you. You got you wised up. Dan is getting lazy. You had to get up before. Now he just puts the mic by the humidifier. You know, I don't want to lie to my audience. They think it's the air conditioner fan. That's the humidifier fan that Dan bought, so you could just lay a microphone there. That is the fucking cover of Mailing It In magazine, dude.
No.
Jesus.
It's the air cleaner for your cigarette
It's
smoking.
a fucking... Okay, Felix Unger. That's what it's turning into. No.
Ryder and I don't get lung cancer.
That was yeah, that'll be the reason. That was a fan.
We get medical, right?
That voice, of course, Ryan Reiss. He's coming in mid, Christmas and New Year week. What's up, man?
Closing out 2015.
What do you got coming up? An Egyptian barbecue? And
I did an Egyptian
I know you.
barbecue.
That's why I remember. That was in my head. How did that go?
The money was good.
Yeah.
It went bad.
Did, huh?
They had opera singers before me.
Oh God! I mean, how could you set up for?
They were beautiful.
Yeah, were they really?
They were great. And then I was like, you really want me to ruin your holiday?
Oh, that is a tough gig, man. Wow. What was it? Ramadan? What were you playing?
It was an Egyptian doctor's Christmas holiday party, and half the audience was from outside the country and didn't know there was going to be a comedian, of course.
Oh, that's the worst.
In a penthouse, and it was beautiful, and there was an opera singer.
Manhattan?
Yeah.
Overlooking like the park, maybe?
14th Street.
Wow.
14th and 5th.
Wow.
And then I went on, and he's
That's
like,
cool.
just do what you do.
Right.
I just insulted people, and they were like, why is this man calling me a terrorist?
You were roasting him?
Yeah, that's what he wanted.
And he did terrorist jokes.
I did it, whatever I had to do. I did rich jokes, doctor jokes, terrorist jokes, just whatever. And for the 3 people that spoke English.
Yeah, well that's... well, this is private parties. What happens is what Ryan's describing. I haven't done nearly as many as, I guess, you have already, but I've done a few where they want you to roast people. It turns into, the guy who hires you gives you information about people in the crowd, and that's what he wants you to do. And if you try doing material that's not going well, you're being, you just got to go, you know what? And I've done that every single time. I bomb for 3 minutes, and I go, oh, fuck. Hey, Ed, how's that golf game? 5-minute laugh. 5-minute laugh on Ed's golf game. So, is that what it turned into for you?
Well, I had done a corporate one where they actually gave me the information, so I was able to, if I got stuck, I could be like, hey, Ed, this is from your coworkers. Fuck you! they loved it. But on this one, a lot of times they'll hire you and they won't do the research, and they'll be like, just, do your thing.
My God. So, yeah. That's not, that's a bad note. Do your thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is. If you,
they learned their lesson.
Yeah.
They got the party they deserved.
Isn't it unbelievable that they all make the same? And it's unbelievable that the agents all make the same mistake when they book you. You go, you sure you told them it's dirty? You sure you told? Yeah, they're fine. Doesn't work out.
They never even tell the audience there's a comedy show. They brought me up like this. We have something very different.
Are you guys ready to laugh?
Something very mad. No, even laughter. He said he brought me up like this. He goes, something very different. Something very magical.
Oh, wait, the guy was emceeing? The doctor was?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Listen, what Ryan's describing is a nightmare.
When he said magical, I was like, is there another act? Is there a magician, I hope? No, that's me. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, before Ryan, my good friend Jeff Dunham. Dude, that is, oh my God. What a nightmare. The doctor is emceeing. Wow. First of all, think of the money in New York, a penthouse on 14th. You know those people.
He lowballed me, son of a bitch.
Sure, he probably did.
Fighting me over $50.
Oh.
Back and forth.
That's how he has the penthouse.
Then he gave me the address, and I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Strange fire. You come to my house, I give you money.
Oh,
I was like,
man.
What?
You got to be careful. You come to my house, my 2 sons will be there. Ube and Ine. They like playing soccer. If you beat them in soccer, they will kill you. I let them win. I was talking to, I didn't say this on the air yet because I saw this after we, no, I didn't talk about this on the air. Muammar Gaddafi documentary on Showtime. It's my new favorite documentary.
Good guy.
Oh.
Good guy.
And when you talk about bad guy, when you talk about evil, him and his kids, it's the same setup as Saddam Hussein. I think that's like a thing they strive for. You get two sons close in age who are both the devil, and they report to you, because that's what Hussein had. Gaddafi had a very similar situation. He had two sons. One was gay and really a sexual deviant, really bad, was spending $2 million a week just on partying all over the world.
Well,
And he was gay, and there was a soccer player that he was in love with, real good looking soccer player. So the soccer player is talking about it after the fact, and he says, he invited me over, and I wouldn't have sex with him. I said, look, I'm not gay, and he threw him in jail. He threw the soccer player in the prison in Syria for 6 months because he wouldn't have gay sex with him.
You play with these balls or none.
Exactly. And they said, what happened? How'd you get it? He goes, well, they bombed and killed Gaddafi. I'd still be there. I go, would you ever how long do you think before he has gay sex in the prison?
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, as soon as when he gets to prison, he's going to be having gay sex.
Listen, tell Gaddafi's son I'm used to it now. Well, now he no longer wants you.
How did Gaddafi get it in the end? It's a very specific way. Right?
The way you just said it.
Yeah.
It's almost exactly how it happened in the ass. They joke about the fact that he was literally in his living room sitting down, and somebody put a missile right up his ass. It came into his house. We destroyed his palace. And he was at home. Right? I mean, that's what happened. He was at home.
And
the sons were home and they died.
There was another Middle East guy. I don't think it was Gaddafi, but I know
Gaddafi went in his house.
They beat him, and they definitely shoved stuff up his butt.
Yeah, well, there was rumors about that with Gaddafi. I'm sure stuff gets blurred, but he was at home, and because part of it is you tour the palace, the ruins of it, and they show you everything. And the kids were home, thank God, because they both died. And I hope a good-looking soccer player wasn't getting fucked at the time. I hope he was out of the house. But yeah, so the really just like awful people. If the sons were, just deviants, not just sexually. They liked seeing people, in pain. Like they had a shrink on talking about how they just had contempt for human beings. And the wife, okay. The wife did this 3 times. Poured boiling water over a maid because of something. And what they would do is the maid would fuck something up. She'd pour boiling water over the maid, and the maid's skin would come off like really scorching hot. Ugh. Screaming. She had the security just throw her in the yard, like on the grounds. And after a while, the police force was allowed to come in and get him. And the one that survived, all over her body, 3rd degree burn. God. And she's sitting in pain in the hospital. That's what she did. The maid, I don't know what the maid did. Maybe she didn't fold the shirts properly.
You got to worry when she's like, "Hey, can you boil some water for me? I want some tea." Like,
have you tried cold green tea? Because that's better. Yeah. So when you hear someone does that, when a human being is capable of doing that to another, not even freaking just human being, another breathing thing, like that's why the Michael Vick story really, to me, fucks me up more than people like to think about, because in that world, what people do to those fucking dogs is electrocute them, drown them, and it's
those people are.
Well, I mean Southerners. I mean Catholics. And there's another. It's not a person, but it's another breathing thing that you're torturing, and it's the most domesticated animal on the planet. Like if someone told you they do that or advocated, would you you'd think differently of them? You'd almost look at them as a murderer, right? I mean, if they
sure,
yeah, right.
Well, yeah.
So Michael Vick, what do you think of him? Because I don't think people really know the full.
I don't know the full story. I don't know if he was just dogfighting or.
Well, if he did time, he was very involved in it, and he was in that world where they do that to dogs. I mean, like they get skinned alive. Some of them.
Humans are bad people.
Well, especially the quarterback of the Eagles.
Look at Scientology. Did you see that documentary?
That's a great one. That's a great one.
Guy's got all the money in the world. He knows every celebrity, and all he wants to do is torture his underlings in a factory in California.
He's a fucking sociopath. Yeah, you're right. That's a real thing. Think about that on paper. That is all he wants to fucking do. He wants to see people suffer. It's a contempt for people. It's like, and that manifests itself in different ways. I think comedians, we have. Do you think most comedians hate the audience that they're performing in front of?
I think there's two types of comedians. I think there's the comedians that go on stage for themselves, meaning like I've written this and you should appreciate it.
Right.
And then there's the guys that go on stage and you can see they desperately want the audience to like them.
Right.
They're fighting for that, like, please accept me.
Right. Then you think there's, well, which one are you?
I'm desperate. I'm performing at a fucking Egyptian's penthouse.
So you do. You want them to like you.
I try to make it work. I want it to work. Every set matters.
I listen. I appreciate you being honest because, the cool sort of angry artist way to go, the Jean-Michel Basquiat way to go, is, to say, oh, no, I hate these people. When I think even the guys who say that are secretly the other guy inside, more than they want to admit it, because, of course you want their approval. Some people sweat for it, and you shouldn't jump through hoops like a dog. But to get to it, but yeah, of course you do. But when an audience pisses you off in some way because of the moaning you get now and whatever, whatever you want. Well,
no. There's a definite line of like if the audience sucks and they're being shitty, I can see you going after them. But
right.
I mean, if you watch some of the guys in L.A., like, God, I hate L.A. comedians.
It's a different.
They get on stage and they do a joke, and if the audience doesn't laugh, they're calling the audience stupid.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Maybe. Well, you know who does that is Bill Maher. And again, I think Bill Maher is a talented guy, but he's clearly an asshole. I mean, I would argue, I would debate with anybody who, if someone had the stance of Bill Maher's not an asshole, I would debate them anywhere. I feel I have enough evidence. And it's based just on videotape. I've never really met the guy. Well, I did meet him, and he was an asshole. But he does that with his crowd on TV. If they don't laugh at something on that live show, oh, yeah, okay, whoa, we're going to do this tonight? Tonight we're going to have one of those crowds? You're dumb. Grow up. He never even thinks it's possible that the joke sucks. Maybe the joke's not good. It's always their fault, And to see a guy who's not famous with that attitude, like, oh, Christ. How's he going to get work?
I don't know.
Because, they have the attitude towards executives. Look, most executives are boobs, but are you going to want to be in the business or not? You're going to have to meet these guys halfway. There's a lot of guys who don't meet these executives halfway. And, again, a lot of them are, I've met in meetings a lot of people who their title is literally the head of comedy development. That's their title. And it's just, come on. Talk about uptight with no sense of humor. You know how I know I'm going to not get a deal or get thrown out of a meeting when I hear this? The head of comedy development's going to be there, Amanda. She's a woman of color.
She went to Harvard.
Yeah. When they say woman of color, I go, cancel the meeting. Why? Because she's not going to like me. Why? Because the woman of color, you know what I call her? A black chick. What's is that? How it's offensive about black chick? White chick, black chick? Wait, if she refers to herself as woman of color, I'm not going to the meeting. Because we're not going to like each other.
Can you refer to her that way? It's so nice to meet a person of color.
Wait a minute. Are you a person of color?
Not colored.
I said colored.
No.
I'm sorry.
Of color.
Are you a colored person? Can we drop the pronoun? Yeah, no. What does that indicate? They're uptight. They're uptight is the enemy of comedy.
I love how when they're like, head of comedy, need a black chick.
Head of comedy.
Head of comedy.
Of course. Okay. You get a black chick, make it Shirley Hemphill. You know what I mean? Not Jada Pinkett Smith on her high horse about some subject that I know nothing about.
The definitive head of comedy.
You're talking about people who wouldn't make you laugh if you were trapped in a basement with them for 5 years. Unless they accidentally hit their fucking head on a pipe and passed out bleeding, then you might giggle. They're just terrible. And I could see having contempt for those people, but look, what business are we in? You can either meet them halfway, or not. You got to go somewhere else, man. But there's options. Now there's options, like what we're doing in the kitchen. You don't have to meet. You'll never meet a person of color here. Well, you might, but they won't be head of comedy development. There's no head of comedy development. Dan's our head of comedy development.
I'll screen your meetings.
Dan is the head of comedy development. And
apparently, you think I'm very raw in my assessment of minorities.
Yeah, wow, yeah, I think you're insanely racist. But you know what? Dan had said something. There was a great Dan Filato moment. We went on the road. Dan has little Paris Hilton type dogs.
What?
You know, Paris Hilton type.
I know the
Brussels
dogs. I didn't know you had those
okay,
dogs.
okay. So my sister tells me Dan has a dog called Brussels Griffons. I'm like, okay. I never heard of that dog. And she shows to me it's a little like Paris Hilton dog. Instead, he's got 2 of them.
It's the dog in As Good as It Gets.
Right.
I
The
got
dog
picture
that the gay guy, Greg Kinnear, has is as good as it gets.
But the Jack Nicholson character liked the dogs too.
Right. That's what you call a movie. Here's real life. You ready for that? Here's James Brooks not being involved and the camera not there. Greg Kinnear gets beat up. Cuba Gooding Jr. tries to give the dog to Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson shoots Cuba Gooding Jr.
My dog before the Brussels Griffons was a German Shepherd.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so now we're driving up to the gig, and I say Dan's got a Brussels Griffin. He goes, Griffon. That's all I hear. I go, what? He goes, Griffon. Dan's for correcting me. It's Brussels Griffon. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, that's how it said. He said, but he gets, you got mad at me. And I said, well, how come you let my sister say it the other day? Like, you know, you didn't correct her. Well, whatever. I'm like, well, now you're correcting me in front of like 2 guys, 2 comedians. You're in front of 2 other comedians on the way to a gig. You're changing Brussels Griffin to Brussels Griffon.
Wait, it was Russ Maneve and Tim.
I'm sorry. Right. But still, Tim is like a guy who's going to laugh at. I mean, come on, man. What's going on? Rick Steves, Brussels Griffon.
That's the name of the dog.
What is it, so? What do you, that's what, so?
I'd never heard Brussels Griffin
I never heard either one of them.
until
Did you ever
I
hear
got
of Brussels
here.
Griffin?
I'm trying to think how you went from the Playboy Mansion to a car with little dogs.
It's called needing money. No, honestly, what the fuck? A Brussels Griffon. Did you ever hear of a Brussels Griffin dog?
No.
Dan, who are you hanging out with? Who knows about Brussels Griffin?
It was my wife's dogs.
Okay, well, you know.
And they have a lot of personality and they're very funny.
Oh my God, man!
Where do you keep the
You
dog?
talking about Eddie Griffon?
We have a house. We have a huge house.
Eddie
and a
Griffon.
big backyard.
Oh my God, man!
Where?
In Chicago.
Oh.
It just come on, man. It just keeps getting like you're the
whatever.
gayest straight guy. I mean, there's nothing. The Rick Steves and Brussels Griffon, man.
I had no dogs for 12 years, and then my wife had dogs. and I started-
Dan, but if a guy like me who's a slob, I'm not saying I'm better. It says Brussels Griffin in a car. Don't correct me and expect not me to be not to. You think I wouldn't
Griffon.
bring that up? He said, "That's it, Griffon."
Griffon.
I said, "What? Griffon?" Like mad at me. He was mad that I did. What? Why would you say that out loud?
I just don't want.
I think you're screaming to come out.
I
You're
don't.
screaming.
I don't want Timmy to mispronounce the name.
Can we get? Let's just do this right now. You're screaming. You
Yeah,
want me?
whatever.
You're throwing me a life
Yeah.
preserver. You're like, come on, man.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Whatever.
These are signs.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Do I? Ryan, do I permeate any?
If you can see Ryan's face,
this is tough.
Ryan handles everything.
tough.
Egyptian fucking birthday parties.
Oh.
He's finally from an audience. I don't know what the fuck to do.
I commented on your nice pictures there you just showed me.
That's what a chick does.
Yeah. Okay.
What pictures? Pictures of
There's
what?
some-
A model that I'm now.
Okay, well, is a
Yeah.
picture a girl you're dating?
Yeah, I guess.
All
so.
right,
I
so
remember
what,
once or twice.
so you mean you said she's hot? That's what he does. Overcompensates. There's that too. Like
what-
you know, like we're both 50-year-old men, and a chick comes out. Look at the fucking tits on her. I think I fuck her. And then I don't say anything because
That's
I'm
exactly
eating.
the way I say it.
Well, I don't say anything because I'm eating, and he goes, "What are you, a fag? You don't like the tits on her?" I'm like, "Yeah, I see her. I've seen tits." What are we in the 4th grade? Come on, let's look at that hot chick. How could you sit there?
His tits are the size of a griffon.
Come on, I'd like to walk my Brussels Griffon. I mean, I don't know. I just
I like to play hide the griffon.
Eddie Griffon, Kathy Griffon, Kathy Griffon, and Anderson Cooper. That's right, exactly.
Changing name would hopefully make her funny.
Well, listen, there's the Brussels Griffon thing. To me, is really who takes care of the Brussels Griffons?
My wife does.
And so, I mean,
There used to be 5, and that was only
how
2.
come I don't
We
know
lost
about? I've
3.
known you for 4 years. I didn't know about the Brussels Griffon.
Yeah, you did. I
No,
told
I
you.
didn't.
That's why I like your sister's dog so much, because they're Brussels Griffons. Well,
They
except
are?
for the terrier. She's got a. Is it Jack?
What heterosexual?
Jack Russell
What
Terrier.
heterosexual guy do you know in your life that knows what a Brussels Griffon is?
Whatever.
Yeah,
the dog
whatever.
before
Dave-
was a
Dave-
German Shepherd. I had a
No,
German
I
Shepherd.
don't want to hear about the dog before. The Brussels Griffon. What heterosexual guy knows
that was
it?
in your past life. That was when you were
Yeah.
a different person.
Because I'm
when you were Bruce Jenner.
Yeah, I'm a rump wrangler because I know the name of my
Rump
dog.
Wrangler. What are you, a rump wrangler? No, not just because.
Okay,
of
the
that.
Rick Steves thing I give you. I didn't notice all the outwardly gay stuff that he does until you pointed out.
Oh, Dan,
I give
come
you
on.
that. I didn't. I watched the
You
travel
notice
show.
gay stuff about everybody. That's your first thing to point out. He seems like a pig.
Well, because he always had his wife on the show and his kids.
Oh, well, they can't get by that. He's not gay. It's his wife.
And since you
He's
pointed
sucking-
it out,
he's blowing a guy next to his wife. He's not gay. That's his wife.
Since you pointed it out, I've noticed certain
Pointed
things.
it out. Did you ever hear Rick Steves?
No, not
wait,
until I
play
started
Rick
doing
Steves,
this.
play Rick
I've heard.
Rise on. Okay, rise on in this loop. Then okay.
I
He. This is the guy that Dan can't be in the same room with. He gets the shakes. Explain it, Dan. Again, he gets the shakes and he can't be in the same room with him because he admires him so much because he's able to haggle at a hotel. Right? I mean, you haven't told us anything else about him.
You can haggle at a hotel.
I'm sorry to go down this rat hole again, listeners, but they love this. They seem to love these discussions. But the Brussels Griffon thing opened up a whole new wormhole. What straight guy says Brussels Griffon?
That's the name of the dog.
No, it's Brussels Griffon.
It's not. It's Griffon.
Well,
Even when I showed it to Russ, he goes, "You're right. It's Griffon."
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Russ Maneve gets it.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Okay.
Believe me, we all get it. You're the one who doesn't seem to get it. No, I'm kidding. Of course I'm kidding.
Okay, let's see. He's probably going to have some fun in France.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, next time. Listen. This is the guy that Dan. How long have you been listening to this guy, Dan? How long have you been a fan of his?
I think they started distributing the show around 88.
All right,
89.
okay, so 25 years, 30 years. Okay, this is the guy that Dan claims for 30 years didn't realize he was gay.
I'm Rick Steves. Thanks for joining us. In this program, we're bringing you some dizzy alpine thrills. We're on the tip of a peak, high above the French resort town of Chamonix.
Luge and feast
Put it
on
up.
little fondue in Chamonix. Then we'll ride the Glacier Express to the region of Appenzell, where we'll spend the night in a rustic mountain hut. In Western Europe, France and tiny Switzerland come together high in the Alps. Starting in the French alpine resort of Chamonix, we'll cross the width of Switzerland to Appenzell, seeing spectacular sights along the way.
But first, let's backtrack a bit. A scenic slalom of alpine wonders fills the valley right here in the shadow of Mount Blanc.
Fills the valley?
And down there is where we woke up, in the town of Chamonix, a world-class climbing center.
The town of Russmany.
We began very early to minimize the crowds and clouds. Both tend to gather in the afternoon. These two climbers are pointing to Mount Blanc. Monsieur Beaumont and Monsieur Paccard were the first to climb.
Monsieur Paccard! He just said Brussels Griffon. That's what he said. All right, Dan, you're laughing. So is it a joke or are you gay or not a joke? You played a practical joke on me. So he didn't realize he was gay.
Who?
You didn't realize Rick Steves was gay.
You know,
really
I really didn't notice it until you started pointing
There's
out.
a lot of.
I started pointing it out.
Nobody else did because all my friends
they're
use
probably-
the
because they're-
guidebooks.
Oh, Dan, they're
Every
afraid.
person.
Dan, they're afraid to point it out.
Okay, you met my friend Dominic from Folio Wines.
did?
He came here for a day. He watched the.
I believe you. If I had a loan with Dominic, I'd say, what do you think about it?
Yeah. Dominic used his books in Italy. He's
I'm not
Dominic's
saying-
with the Folio Wine Company.
Yeah, but can Dominic be in the same room with him?
I'm sure that he could.
Tell him what happened. Tell
Have you
Ryan
met
what
him?
happened.
Has he met him?
Oh, God, you know what? You haven't heard the Rick Steves thing. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I knew he
I
liked
thought
him.
I could get through the end of the year without another Rick.
Dan, let me tell you something. You could have if you didn't pronounce
That's
correctly.
the name of the dog. If you pronounced it Australian Shepherd or German Shepherd, I would say you mean German Shepherd.
And then his wife, how about this one? His wife made chocolate, and then he got pissed on the air. I said, your wife makes chocolate, and he got mad and said, she's a chocolatier. Does that mean she sleeps with a black guy? That's what we call it in Norca, chocolatier. No, so have you ever heard someone say chocolatier?
No, I don't.
It's in the dictionary.
Of course
a
it is.
woman or a person
And
that makes chocolate.
what's the first syllable of dictionary? Go ahead. Tell them about what happened when you met Rick Steves.
They had a fundraising for Channel 11 in Chicago, and she knew I had been a big fan of his books.
Your wife.
My wife. And so they asked her to be the supplier of the chocolate at the Channel 11 fundraiser.
Rick Steves
And
said,
she
"Do you have a
I'll
chocolatier?"
do it. I'll do it for free.
I need a number of a chocolatier.
And as long as my husband can meet Rick Steves, because he's a huge fan.
Alone
So
in the hotel room.
they had a,
When a woman goes, can my husband meet Rick Steves? I'll do it for free if my husband can meet Rick Steves. I'll supply the chocolate for your fucking event if my husband can meet Rick Steves. What woman says that out loud?
I could have been at the movies. He said, do you want to do a podcast? I said, sure. I could have. He goes, unless you want to do it.
Well, yeah, I know you see every Ryan Felipe motion picture.
I do not.
Go ahead. So tell him what happened.
So she was doing, it was how they do the PBS fundraisers with the phones
Can I
and
just
everything?
say this one time? You know when you find out your friend hasn't seen a really great movie and you're jealous of them because they're about to see it for the first time? I'm jealous that Ryan's going to hear this for the first time. Go ahead. I thought
she went up,
Your wife.
Rick came up to her and said, listen, I want to thank you. Your chocolate is amazing. She does mostly European chocolates, darks, which I don't. I like milk chocolate, but
Of course, Ryan. She does mostly European chocolate.
so
You like dark? You like dark chocolate?
no, I don't like chocolate. I like milk chocolate.
I like milk chocolate.
So so she said, my husband.
Is milk chocolate dancing tonight? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. She said what?
The phones are ringing. People aren't taking donations. Rick Steves,
So she
your
said,
wife.
listen, can my husband meet you? He's been a big fan of yours for a long time. Has all
Where
the
are you
books.
while they're talking?
I was, well, I think I was like on the side of the stage because they were, they had the people, the PBS. Please give, please, you know how they give.
Right. So you're on the side waiting.
Yeah, so-
Straighten his fanny pack out.
So I do not wear the Rick
Just
Steves
keep-
fanny pack.
He has a fanny
But yeah,
pack.
he does. That's it.
Do you have it?
Huh?
Do you have the family?
I have his backpack. Where is it?
No, I don't want it. We'll get it later. You have his backdoor pack.
So,
It's like having Rick Steves on your back.
so I
He's
said.
always behind you.
So she said, he goes, oh yeah, sure, absolutely. And she brought him up, and I was speechless. I couldn't talk.
So she signals to you, you come over.
Right. Now,
Dan, this is Rick
she
Steves.
notices,
Rick Steves, this is
yeah,
Dan.
and I just,
It's your moment.
right.
Your eyes
and I've
meet.
only been that way around one other person. Charles Nelson. No, Springsteen. I was speechless about Springsteen. I got a chance. He was backstage and he started talking to me and I
No,
couldn't talk.
forget the Springsteen. Go deep into what happened. You started sweating. What happened?
And I just couldn't talk.
And you had to leave?
And so my wife said, he's really a big fan of yours. We use all your books. And,
Your shot. Well, your shot.
Well, if you can see Ryan's face right now.
I'm picturing this magical moment.
There's nothing.
I have been in show business since I was 15 years
Dan,
old.
you've never
I've
been in
met
show business, and
everyone.
you're not in show business now.
I've met everyone
You're
that I've
delusional.
ever wanted to meet, with the exception of one guy.
Who?
I told you, Joseph Campbell. Joseph Campbell is?
Of course he doesn't know.
He wrote the Power of Myth book.
Wow.
Play Joseph Campbell for him. Play with Joseph Campbell.
We were supposed to fucking talk about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is in
I was hoping it
jail.
had something to do with the soup. I really did.
Dude. Play Joseph Campbell's voice.
He's famed.
This is the one other guy.
What's the power of myth?
Joseph Campbell wrote all these books. Bill Moyers did a PBS special on him in the mid 80s, and it was the most watched thing until the Civil War by Ken Burns.
Play Ken Burns.
You watch a lot of PBS.
I like PBS too, but I like PBS. I never heard of Rick Steve.
No,
He's on every 10 minutes. You see the Twitter?
Just play
all these people.
Play Joseph Campbell.
Okay, I gotta find it.
Yeah, the Twitter is people busting your balls.
Yeah. No, they're not.
I see the Twitter.
Yeah,
Rick Steves was out on my Twitter till we goofed on it one day. Now he's on my Twitter because they're busting your balls. Wait till Brussels Griffon gets on.
Do you think you're getting another chance to meet Rick?
It might be that which pins you down. And if it's simply that of doing what the environment tells you to do, it certainly is pinning you down. And so the environment is your dragon as it reflects.
Dan,
within
you have to
yourself.
tell me why. So why do you get the shakes meeting that guy?
Oh, no, I didn't. I wanted to.
Oh, you haven't?
No, he died right before we were going to Hawaii.
Well, you said you're that way.
No, he's the only person I've never.
He died before you go to Hawaii.
Right.
What does that do with anything?
It's
Is
an
he in
unfair
Hawaii?
world.
He was a professor in the University of Hawaii.
So,
Yeah, he sounds like a professor.
You said you were absolutely gonna. You said he's the one other person, so you know.
No,
you'd be like-
there were two people that I was speechless. Springsteen
Dan,
and
do you see the difference between Bruce Springsteen?
yes, I do see the difference. I do
But
see
you
the
don't.
difference.
You don't clearly.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. What
Okay,
is the
I do
difference?
see the
Explain
difference.
the difference.
The difference is Springsteen's songs meant so much to me. He's so much more of an artist. But Rick Steves has this thing where he's very comfortable around people he doesn't know.
He has it.
And he can go up and like bargain.
It's called full-blown
at
A.
hotels. Like he'll go into this hotel, like a 4-star hotel in Paris, and say, you know, the room is $300. And he said, well, do you have a night rate, or do you have a rate, you know, that I don't want to pay $400? And he'll get it for $150.
Have you ever met any Jews from Brooklyn?
Dan, honestly, you have to be joking around.
No, I am not.
That's
joking
the
around.
reason you can't be in the same room as him.
I didn't say I
Want
couldn't
to be?
be.
You can't. Dan,
I
got nothing to do with him haggling at a hotel.
I didn't say that I.
You want to fuck him?
No, yeah.
Or you
right,
want to
whatever.
watch him fuck somebody? I don't know. I mean, maybe you're not gay, but you want to watch him.
You know more than anyone else that I'm not gay.
How would I know that? I don't know anybody. I don't know anybody. I mean, anybody in my life could be gay. I'm not with you all the time. I'm not.
Oh, okay, what time?
I could be gay. You would know it.
I would know it.
How would you know it? What, the cameras in the bathroom?
No.
You'd be able to pronounce the name of a dog.
You're not
say that.
What are the cameras at Joe Mackey?
When the ladies are in here, you're not exactly a quiet.
What are you talking about? All right, so go ahead. Explain more about Rick Steves so he could get. I mean, it's got to be more than he could get a good price at a hotel.
He just has this thing that I
What
don't
is the
have,
thing?
where he could go in and say, "Well, I don't want to pay this. I want to pay less," and he does it. And his books are really informational, and they helped me in Europe. You know, for an American who doesn't.
Dan, I feel like we're in the Twilight Zone. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't understand.
Because you don't. Because you
Dan,
stay in fucking the Ritz Carlton.
Dan, I'm only the one.
And I don't.
Dan, I'm the only one who is pointing this out.
Yeah.
Everyone else is thinking this.
No, they're not.
promise you they
No,
are.
they're not. Because on Twitter, people have said, you know what? I
On
busted
Twitter.
your fucking chops, but Rick Steves is very educational.
Dan, can we go?
And all of my
let's
friends.
get off of Twitter now.
All of my friends.
Oh, name them. What friends? you have?
Allie from Apple Vacations
Allie
and
who?
her husband Joe.
Oh, it's her.
They took the Rick Steves book to
Yeah, any guy friends?
that, like Rick Steves.
Yeah.
Dom's like, you know what? I wanted to fucking rip you into ale about Rick Steves, but this book was amazing. He tells you like how to sneak into things.
Why?
without paying.
Why? He wanted you to have your new asshole
Yeah.
because he's afraid what the old ones use. Let me tell you something.
I couldn't have been at the movies right now. I
No,
could've been watching-
the Brussels Griffon thing. This it's like you're shouting something, and
Yeah,
I feel as
I'm
a
not
friend-
shouting
I feel
anything out.
As a friend, I should be.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know.
I'm not shouting anything out.
Don't bring those dogs here ever. I mean, God forbid people see those dogs.
I wish
in
I
the
had.
public.
I wish I had on my computer Flippin's fucking illegal taping me of me with your sister's dog with Vinny.
Oh, the way he talks to my sister's dog. My sister looks at me and rolls her eyes.
Oh, she does not. She
does.
knows.
Because she doesn't like
I
me.
loves her dog.
Because
I love
you're
her
not
dog.
a woman.
Yeah, whatever. She knows. She lets me take care of the dogs, and she doesn't. She's very picky.
I told Stacy I love Dan. I wouldn't trust her around.
Oh yeah,
I would.
She knows.
I wouldn't trust.
I brought them. I got them little Chicago. It's a dog. It's 4 dog bones that looks like the Chicago flag sweaters for Christmas. Don't. I haven't told Stacy yet. I have them in my bag.
You're not helping yourself.
Fine,
what straight guy spends time
Sweaters
to do that?
and
because I like her dogs.
You got the dog sweaters?
Yeah, they're Chicago. They have the Chicago flag on the back, and they're dog bones instead of.
Right, what's going on here? Right?
I was going to give him a pass on the dog, but now he's dressing them. So
do you think he's gay?
oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Do you think I'm gay?
Charlie Sheen's gay, man. Anything's possible.
Thank you. All right.
Anything's
All right.
possible.
I'll give you
So
that.
what does that mean? What are you arguing with?
I don't know.
I'll give you that.
So you're saying we're both gay?
Huh? I know you're not gay.
How do you know that?
You'd make an adorable couple, though. I mean,
That's what I don't want. I don't want the Brussels Griffon here. I don't want you to have those dogs here even to visit, and someone in the fucking one of the doormen you correct them on Griffon. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Noberto minds.
How about the Griffon Don? Griffin Dunn, Griffon Dunn. I don't put it this way. This happened once before in my life on the Stern Show where I was rude to a guy with this humor, and then he
stop.
came out, and I felt terrible. I felt
that
terrible.
will never happen.
All right. I just want to say, I would take all this back.
It will never, ever, ever happen.
While your father's alive. I don't want any cocksucking while my father's alive. Dan, you're nothing to me now. Nah, I'm telling you. I love you. See, you think I'm
okay.
I am a sensitive guy. I'm not the most. I'm a longshoreman, sure. I'm not those guys I worked with. I would not be upset. I would not.
Yeah.
You'd have to get another apartment, but I would not be upset.
I had. I lived.
A bathroom that's further away.
I had this great apartment near Wrigley Field for $275 a month from 1984 till about 88.
Right.
And the
exactly.
one stipulation with the older woman who owned the building was every Friday I had to go get her a case of Old Style. And that was the deal. That I got the apartment. It was 2 bedrooms. It had a backyard.
Old Style beer.
Huge kitchen. Old Style beer.
Right.
So after like 4 years, I had to move closer to downtown because they were always asking me to come into WGN at odd hours. So I was moving closer to WGN.
Dude, you better be gay in the story, otherwise it's boring. We're cutting it out.
And my mom's like old world. My dad isn't. My dad's.
I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
My mom's an immigrant.
Okay.
Okay. My dad isn't.
Okay.
So.
The worst storyteller.
So.
Old world.
So I had.
What were the years you lived there?
84 to 88.
Okay, good.
And 3 of the years I lived with this girl. Lucille, the Lusqueel, as I now call her, she would hear us.
Why do you call that?
Because she went and, well, I'll tell you in a second. So I was looking for a place downtown. So one night when my girlfriend and I and Mark Grace and his wife, we all went out to
the story
dinner.
because you have a girlfriend in it?
Yeah. So we all went out to dinner, and Mark's like, "Hey, I saw all those boxes when we came to pick you up." I said, "Yeah, I got to move closer to downtown because WGN's always calling me, and I have to be down there in like 5 minutes, and I can't be down there in 5 minutes." So he said, "Well, if you're going to move down closer to downtown, you want to get a place together." I'm like, and because his wife was moving to California to become an actress.
Ryan's
I don't know.
He doesn't know how to get out of this.
So
I don't know where he's going with this.
Ryan
so-
wants to go. I have a spot downstairs. I gotta go.
So I said,
I got a Pakistani buffet. I got to play.
At the cellar, you can say I got a spot. You got to
so
leave the table.
we talked about it for a while, and we figured, okay, well, let's try it. So we got huge place that was in between Wrigley Field and downtown. It was perfect. And Lucille was upset that I was leaving.
Who's Lucille again?
That was the owner of the building.
Oh.
So she told my mom that Mark and I were gay. And my mom went to church, and I started to get these calls, and I'm like, where am I getting these calls? And my sister calls me and says, listen, however you want to be in your life, I'm fine with it. I go, what are you talking about?
That's my point.
I go, what are you talking about, Sue? And she's like, whatever you want to be. And so then I put the two and the two together. And I went to Lucille. I said, did you say something to my mom? She goes, oh, no. So I called my mom, and she said, well, I can't believe that you're gay. I'm like, oh, my God, are you kidding me? So I called my dad. My dad went up there. He goes, trust me, he is not gay. I am telling you, he's not gay. But for like 4 or 5 months, my mom thought that.
He was telling you,
Yeah.
you're not gay.
No, yeah.
I beat that out of him years ago.
Yeah.
How do you know he's not gay? How does your father know he's not gay?
My father knew I was not gay.
That was a
'Cause
long, strange
I went
story.
because there were about 4 or 5
Dan,
times
is that the end of the story?
when he stopped over.
Wait a minute.
He stopped by unannounced where I had women there.
Dan, is that the...
I had a nice little stable going.
You know what's in a stable?
Why fucking
what's
did
in a-
you just
you know
say?
what's in a stable?
Why didn't you say you couldn't make it today? Because
Wait,
I would have been at the movie.
You're blaming this on me?
You know
Yeah.
what's in a stable? A horse cop. Let me tell you something.
What was the
Dan, is
movie?
that the end of the story?
That's the end of the story.
Why did you tell that story?
Huh?
Why did you tell that story?
Because you're not the first.
That was a long, boring story with no point at all.
Well, he moved in with a man.
What?
That
I'm
was-
saying,
that was
what is that year?
took
What are you
from-
talking about?
You know that I'm.
In a year, you were with a girl and you ended up living with an athlete, a young
Yeah.
professional athlete
Yeah.
that you saw naked.
that had.
He knows
you
the
know,
exact amount of times you saw Mark naked. That's the only time I saw him naked. The bottoms usually never see the guy. Honestly, again, Ryan's not going to say it here. I'll talk to him in private.
Did I? Oh, you know
Oh,
what?
we're not
I don't
gonna
think
tell anyone.
I don't think I recorded this show. We have to start over.
Damn, I'm telling you. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, whatever.
I just want to let you know, pal. I don't
Why-
care.
yeah. Oh,
I don't.
you.
I don't, man. I don't. I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. You just tell me what to tell people.
Could help ratings, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, okay, whatever.
What about that, Dan?
Yeah.
Admit it here. Well, speaking of people who aren't gay, Tig Notaro.
Oh, I know who that is.
Oh, you never heard of her before?
I couldn't place the face.
Oh, that's
I couldn't-
hilarious.
And then the special's A Woman Interrupted or something
Right.
like that.
Oh, no, it's 10 best comedy specials. They're not comedians.
Comedy. I said that's what it said.
No, you said 10 best.
No.
I thought you said 10 best
No.
comedians.
Comedy specials of the year.
You said comedians.
No, I did not. I said comedy specials.
Okay,
of
let's
the
stop.
year.
Let's stop. Brussels Griffon. Griffon. So the Tig Notaro was the #1 special, and she is she was a very inspiring story. She had cancer and beat it, and came back and talked about it on the stage, and she did a comedy special, I guess, talking about it too. And she's kind of hot within the comedy world, although.
Well,
Ryan is a comedian. It's never.
it took a few minutes for you to place the face. Wait. With your inspiring story. She beat cancer and she came back. Schimmel did it first. Schimmel did it.
No kidding.
Schimmel did it. He was
wears his-
touring for
Never got
ever.
a dinner. Yeah. I toured with him. He used to kill.
Yeah, he did the whole thing about showing the cancer photos and this and that.
He embraced it. He embraced it. But she does too, because, okay, you haven't seen her special. She got her breast taken off completely, and she weighs about 80 pounds. She takes her shirt off in the special. It is very disconcerting. She's topless with no breasts.
So is that the part you don't laugh at?
So the last 5 minutes, she is topless, and you just see this woman who's had I'm glad she's around, and it's inspiring, but it's the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I guess she makes a point, and there's nervous laughter, and then she leaves, and now she's been voted best special. I thought you knew who she was.
No, I do, and now I haven't watched the special.
Yeah.
I know the name, I know the face. It just took me a second to place it.
Let's hear some of her stuff. It's the best special of the year.
I'll tell you something. My grandfather was originally from Boston. And my mother lived in Boston when she was a tiny little person. And this rug, hear me out. This rug I am standing on has been in my family since the 1800s and was in my mother's house in Boston in the 40s. Why am I shooting my special in Boston? I wanted to show you my rug.
All right. You can stop
Why am I shooting?
It's a generous Boston crowd for that joke, but I think she's very confident on stage, and she has her shirt on for that, right?
Yes.
Ryan, what do you think about that?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
You think that would?
Oh, you had a lot of opinions about me,
Would you think that would
asshole.
You know, he didn't. He was very nice.
No, I was sitting on that.
He was very nice. He didn't say anything he really thinks.
I mean, look, she's a touching story, and I don't want to take anything from her accomplishments, but at the same time, what are we rating on? Are we rating it on comedy? If you're going to say something on comedy special, then I don't know. How about some jokes?
Right, well, yeah. So, in other words, yeah, I agree with you. No, I don't know. We're not getting play more. We're not giving it. In other words, that would have gone over at the Egyptian. You would have needed more there.
I'll go forward.
I think the closer might have
One
worked.
time, just like a funny sketch with a friend of mine where at the end he ends up in a bathtub with Santa Claus. And there are websites that you can go on and find your perfect, ideal Santa, click on him, hire him for all your Santa Claus needs. We could not find the perfect Santa Claus. And he said, do you mind if we take a break and go to McDonald's so I can get a couple hamburgers? And then we'll come back. And I said, man, whatever you need. We go through the drive-thru. He gets his hamburgers. He said, I cannot wait to eat these. Do you mind if we just sit here and I eat them and then we go back? I said, again.
Wait a minute, pause it. Wait a minute, I'm lost here. Is this a Santa Claus? Who's she taking to eat?
We couldn't find the Santa Claus, so we decided to go to McDonald's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought okay.
Who's a better storyteller, me or her?
Wait, go ahead. She's by far her.
Does it? At the end.
And we're now looking out over the entire McDonald's parking lot. And I see this woman off in the distance acting utterly insane. And I said, what do you think she's doing? And he said, I don't know, but I'm going to film her. He gets his phone out, he presses record, and you guys are me and him in the car looking through the windshield. The second he pressed record, a boat of a car drove past us, and a man turned, and it was Santa Claus. And I yelled, oh my God, it's Santa Claus! And he yelled, oh my God, do you think you'll talk to us? And then he shut off the phone. We peel out and just haul ass chasing Santa Claus down the street. And we come up next to him at the light, and I realized in that moment I hadn't thought about what I was going to say when we caught him. And I said, hi, you know who you look like, right? And he said, Santa Claus. And I said, yes. I said, my friend and I are making a video and we wanted to hire you to be in it. He hands me his business card. And as he's driving off, I look at it and it said his name at some very conservative church.org. And I said, oh man, this guy is not going to get into a bathtub with you. Or maybe he will. So we drive off feeling defeated. Wow. And then I start thinking about that video from earlier.
Wow.
And I started laughing. And I asked him to pull the car over
Then
to
someone
play
did.
it back for us. And he said, why? And I said, because I feel confident that we captured the most ridiculous footage since the beginning of time. And then he started thinking about it. And then we were both
Even when you started telling this
hunched
joke.
over, laughing so hard, hyperventilating.
Let's stop it for 1
crying,
second.
trying to-
I have two emotions right now. I'd like to stop it, but I'm fascinated by how long she tells the story for. Like, how long is she going to... First of all, this didn't happen, obviously. So
I don't. It sounds stupid enough that it might have.
No, but I doubt it. And the whole... You understand the whole point of why she was voted? She goes conservative.org, and then he's not going to get in the bathroom with you because he's homophobic. Because he's at a conservative.org. That's the whole reason they're laughing at that. They don't even laugh. They're giggling.
Or maybe he will because it's a church.
Exactly. Maybe he
might
will
be.
because all guys at a church who say they're not gay are secretly gay. Of course.
She was I saw the promoting her special. I saw her around town promoting her special, and it's just one of those things where the media announces her a winner, and everyone jumps on the bandwagon.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
I
don't want to. Again, I'm very happy that she's okay and healthy. And I don't want anybody to go through that. She seems nice. She was on my show, but I never. It's the first time I'm hearing this. Like I gave her more of a benefit of the doubt of that. Like that is a, I mean, well, first of all, where's she finding these crowds in Boston? The crowds are if you don't make it make them guffaw, if you don't make them guffaw with a joke in 3 seconds, and you got to have a little bit more than the conservative.org joke. They just start talking about your family, wishing cancer on you. Where is this patient? Is she performing for a painting?
Who?
Like, what is she doing?
Where do you find someone? To
3
open for
letters.
that? I mean, and,
Who to open?
Who's the opener? Like whatever opener she has is gonna just bury her.
Right.
So she's got to have like someone just.
Yeah, her opener is actually Martin Lawrence. Her openers. Yeah, that's a good point. Would they just put a dead guy in a chair? Don't kill.
Dan, you might have a stand-up career, man.
Dan, that's it. You're the
Tell
only
that
one who can
story.
do it. You should tell a story first.
Whatever.
Here's the thing. We were by Wrigley Field. It was 1984 to 80. Wait a minute. I know you want to hear this. 88. What happened was, here's the thing. We got, I did him. And where's Tig? No, you gotta want to hear this. So we lived on the street by the deli. It was what deli? Brabant's Deli. And Belden's Deli. And they had deli. You've never been there. I'm sorry.
That was off the air. I told you that story.
Bring Tig on. I'm sorry, Tig's again coming. I just want to tell this story. I'm opening for Tig. She's way better than me, of course, at storytelling. But I'm the opener. So yeah.
I can tell you exactly who that audience
And my
is.
father said he's not gay. And here's Tig. My father, by the way, worked for conservative.org. Get me?
He dresses as Santa Claus.
So he probably is gay. I don't get it. Wait a minute. Santa Claus drove by in a car? I have to know what the fuck. They couldn't find Santa Claus. And they got the press so they go to McDonald's. Right? They're eating McDonald's. Tell me if I'm wrong. They go to McDonald's, they're eating, depressed that they couldn't find Santa Claus. They see a woman dancing.
Crazy woman.
A crazy woman. They starts to film. And Santa Claus drives by in a car. That's the story?
Yes, but you need to slow your speed and put more emphasis on everything. Like a punchline's about to come, and then.
No, I know. I mean, in other words,
we saw
at the end of this, does she light herself on fire? Like, what's the closure? I'm just saying. No, I'm talking like me and you would talk. I'm trying to figure out what the story was because it's not even linear. It's not a story that makes any sense.
But she's Yes, but she's spacing it and placing emphasis in certain areas that's
Right.
doing the audience to laugh, even though there's no joke. It's like
Right,
an applause
the,
sign.
the whole thing is a setup for the conservative.org thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, that it's her goofing on, conservative.
And
it's her goofing on Mike Huckabee, man.
And the audience is 3 letters.
Mike Huckabee's a good man.
I know he is.
Mike
I know
Huckabee
he is.
supported me for 6 years.
And what these liberal people in show business don't get is when they hear people do stuff like this, it makes them vote for Donald Trump. They get so mad at liberals in show business, like Ashton Kutcher telling you not to vote for these people, that they go, I hate this person so much that I'm going to vote I'll vote for Hitler right now because I hate you. That's what they're doing. That's the ironic thing about these showbiz people who try to get fucking people elected.
Well, why do they not watch any other specials this
I
year?
know what the fuck is it? I mean, there's no right exactly.
It's all right. And on top of that, Americans or people are watching this and going, "This ain't funny." I know funny. Why did they vote for this to be funny? They're lying to me.
Wait,
They're
Dan,
all
who
lying
made
to
that
me.
list? Who made the list?
Pastemagazine.com.
Oh, okay, well that's not fucking Dan found it in something.
I said that to you.
You made
There
it
was-
sound like Rolling Stone came out with it. Although I don't know. I mean,
Did Rick make a list? I'd like to know Rick's.
First we go with number 1. I'm sure you're okay. We're back for a commercial.
You know what?
I was just in Brussels.
Rick, this audience would love Rick Steves. You know why? 3 letters.
What audience?
This audience, Tig Notaro's audience.
3 letters. FAG.
NPR.
FAG.
They have,
HIV.
as you know, I listen to on Saturday nights and Sunday mornings.
Wait a minute, as you know.
As you know, Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons.
What do you mean, as you know?
You know that I listen
I'm
to.
picturing listeners at home like, that's right. We do know. That he enjoys.
No, you know.
Yeah, but
did I tell you?
They were
I
on a
listen
radio
to-
show. They think you're talking to them.
No, as you, Artie Lang knows, I listen to
say that.
Jonathan Schwartz because he plays Sinatra on Saturday nights and Sunday afternoons.
I don't know.
And before
Could you play Tig Notaro?
Saturday afternoons, they have all these comedians on that they are not funny. But the NPR audience is laughing, including Garrison Keillor, which I never thought was funny
What are you talking about?
on NPR.
Why did you just tell that story?
Because Tig Notaro is the queen of NPR.
She is?
Yes. NPR loves
so
her.
you know she is.
And WBEZ, I knew who she
You have
was.
an agenda.
She was on our TV show.
Well, because she has something to say and she stands.
I
for
didn't know
something.
who she
It's
was
not-
before the TV show.
She's arguing. Dan's all mad.
Well, that's what they.
Can't you tell me something, fucker? I knew her. So you
Rick Steves is funnier
and you
than her.
push the zombie, so you have an agenda with the story. Now, the show is very much about Dan's agenda.
Well, think about it for a second. Schimmel also, who had suffered. The difference between Schimmel and her is Schimmel was straight and
course.
married his
Schimmel is hysterical.
daughter's
And
friend.
he doesn't-
So
Another Chicago
so
guy.
the media is
was
not
a
going to
guy.
like him.
He was a guy.
He had jokes.
Right.
The media's not going to like him.
Anybody can laugh at that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what a comedian does. They make you laugh. Look, I don't want this. Dan set me up for this. Like, I can't. Listen, I don't want to get this into a Tig Notaro bashing thing. I hope the woman's okay because I know she went through psychological problems. Dan, I mean, this was. not
I
right.
hope she conquers
No, you
cancer.
don't.
She's not funny.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I
Why
do.
do you say that? Why do you have to point that
Because
out?
she's not funny.
Well, why do you have to point that out? Nobody
Because
cares.
she's not funny.
So, why do you have to point that out?
Well, what agenda do I have?
My goal was not to say to the car.
I'm sure that there are people out there that listen to NPR like I do that
No,
think she's
they're
funny.
not.
I don't think she's funny.
Well, so
Maybe-
what does anybody care what you think about her?
Maybe she had
the
some earlier
podcast
stuff.
is not that does Dan think Tig Notaro is funny? It's
I-
what Artie thinks.
Okay,
So why did you bring it? I mean, I don't care. I don't want to do this to her. She's depressed over it. She was depressed over cancer. I don't want to make her more depressed.
A cancer survivor is
she's-
saying she's not funny.
Sounds like she's doing well. She's
I
got the
guess,
number one
yeah, but it's
comedy
not-
special of the year. She beat
According to
cancer.
Paste magazine.
That's a big one.
Paste is clearly a liberal reference, probably like my fucking the fucking Daily Pravda, for Christ's sakes. It's got an agenda, clearly, like you do.
yeah.
I mean, you can't. Again, for the record, Dan clearly won. You can't let me. I'd like to say fake stuff, not to make her depressed. I don't want to be mean, but I tell you what, if you make me listen to that and tell me some entity voted at number one, I can't lie to you. That is absolutely. That's not even the Emperor's New Clothes. That is like someone. I don't even know how to. I mean, the number that a human being voted that the number one.
Do you want to hear the others?
You could, I mean, if you went to any comedy club in the country and threw a rock, you'd hit someone funnier than that. You'd hit someone with a special funnier than that.
These people don't play comedy clubs. They don't.
Well,
they
that's
look
true.
down on
Yeah,
comedy
they
clubs.
don't.
They look down
So
on
where
the
are they playing?
audiences.
Well, the other ones are probably typical shit everyone would spew out. Go ahead.
Nate Bargatze.
Oh, we just talked about
Full Time
Nate.
Magic.
Yeah.
He's a funny guy.
Paul
Funny
F.
guy.
Tompkins.
Again, these are the specials, Dan. So not the person.
Right.
Paul F. Tompkins. is a funny
Eugene
guy.
Meerman.
Eugene Meerman.
Vegan on his
Okay,
way
well, so
to
Dan, don't go any further. I know exactly what it is.
Kyle
Okay,
Kinane.
just stop.
Okay.
Kyle Kinane.
Yeah,
Kinane?
It's you know.
Amy Schumer, who we all like.
Of course. No, you don't. You said a million times you hate her. I do. Who you all like?
Louis C.K. is
No, you
number
don't.
5.
What are you
Louis took
bullshitting
5.
about?
Louis took 5.
Yeah.
You're bullshitting about Amy Schumer.
John Mulaney.
Who be I like?
Aziz Ansari, live at Madison Square Garden. Jen Kirkman is number 2.
Okay.
And then Tig Notaro, Boyish Girl Interrupted. That's number 1.
Yeah, no, it's not again. What you just did is very wrong, Dan.
I-
Because that's not a publication that's it's got specific people in mind.
You know what? That is a very biased list because there's not enough people of color on that list.
What about that, guys? What about paste?
I
What
didn't
happened?
see any people.
Maybe
of
it's
color.
white paste.
What color's paste? Yeah,
I just feel it was biased.
of course it was. Of course it was. Conservative.org. So he's not going to get in the tub with you, or maybe he will. Yeah. They didn't even. It wasn't even the big. They didn't even laugh that hard. Could you sweeten that up? When I say conservative.org, could you sweeten the laugh?
Well, it's the same thing when you go to UCB. It's like an audience is sitting through something and they're just desperate to laugh at
I know,
anything.
I
They
never
paid money,
saw it. I
so they're
never
like,
went
"Oh
there."
God, where do I laugh? I gotta
Yeah.
laugh soon. It's cost me money."
Right. I never went to UCB. I mean, I know people.
Well, you fascinate me because you are a guy who is both trained in improv and stand up. Which
Well, trained is like I was in it. What happened was I joined an improv group because they performed at the comedy club I was working at doing stand up, and I just did it because I figured when I was 24, let me throw my hat into every fucking ring there is, and then I happened to kind of find that I was all right on stage with the improv stuff, acting, and that led to somewhere that got me my first sort of break. But to me, a comedian is someone. If you're trained in stand up, like the life you're leading now, the gigs you're playing, if you get in a writer's room, say for example, we might have talked about this, the writer's room at the Norm Show sitcom. Half of those guys come up through the sitcom world. They start out as assistants, and then they, on sitcoms, and they never have to go to a club. They get staff writing jobs, and those guys never see jokes that they write bombs because they always see these jokes and laughs and. They sweeten it up, and these guys get delusional, and they convince themselves that they're really writing, The Simpsons when it's, Full House, and, they get delusional. It's a hit. It's always killing. My family watches in Boston. God, that show got a big laugh because it's dead people laughing that they have a laugh track for. So those people aren't as passionate about writing. Stand-ups get in the room and mingle with those guys. And, okay, we come from a world where the jokes better be funny because we have to get a laugh out of real audiences. So what happened at the Norm Show was Norm insisted on a couple of stand-up guys in there. And they would, the guys from the sitcom world would go, at 11 o'clock, the script's good, we're going home. And the stand-up guys go, what are you talking about? A group of people aren't going to laugh at these jokes. The stand-up guys be like, wait, they're used to trying to make a guy who pays $14 for a Rolling Rock laugh. And they go, the guys go, what do you mean we have to stay? We have to stay here and make it funny. The show's not funny. These jokes aren't funny. It'll work. It won't work.
yeah, we hit the applaud button.
That's what happens.
And it works.
That's what happens. You know who gets the laughs? The warm-up comic.
Yeah.
That's who gets the laugh.
I've worked on many a show where the audience has left and gone, "Oh my God!"
Well,
you
more
were
like the
best
late
part."
the late night shows where it's comedians hosting. They make it good. They want to make it good. SNL, a live show. The sketch world, guys like these late night talk shows like Fallon and Seth. They know they have to get laughs. They come from that world where it's got to be good. A sitcom, it literally is canned laughter, and these people will go home at 11 o'clock. And Norm would start cracking the whip, go, "No, the jokes suck." You can't go home right now. Like the show's got my name on it. And that was the clash. That was they literally get to a point in the sitcom world where the jokes you're writing are too dangerous. Just fucking say the shit we want you to say, and you'll get, syndication maybe. Just parrot what we're saying because the network will like it. We'll make it laugh louder, and it'll be, and then that's how you lose your soul in Los Angeles.
Oh no, I've had those conversations with writers.
Sure,
where they
yeah.
said, "Hey, we need a laugh here because this is where the joke is."
Right.
And I go, "Well, doesn't the joke inspire laughter on
Right.
its own?"
That's
and
a-
you
that's
read
a-
it, and
that's
you're
a-
like, "Oh no, it doesn't. This is a half a
Dude,
joke."
that's a great way to put it.
You didn't.
They tell you where the laughs are first.
Yeah, they did. They were very worried because
They put the laugh before the joke.
Well, if you read it, if any comedian would read it, you go, "Oh, they only wrote half a joke. There's no punch."
And there's exactly. And there's a beat that every sitcom has, and that's fine with me. The format works. Just make it like the ones that are good. Ray Romano, those ones that were the ones that are on another level of the shit ones. You could tell the writing's superior to that, but mostly it's shit in the network world for sure. And some people just there's also a good way. There's also people good at acting those hack sitcom jokes. Those like the Matthew Perry guys they say those sitcom jokes. They're good at it. Like you're going, why? Like Amanda, like they make their head go like this. And Norm was not good at reading those shit jokes. He was bad at it. Norm's delivery. It had to be funny stuff because of how he was.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to be David Schwimmer in a sitcom. He didn't know how to do that. And nobody would say, he goes, I'm not mocking on the guy. I go, I'm impressed by it. I can't act like that. So the jokes have to be funnier. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. But, you're coming from a world, man, if you get on a staff someday in L.A., okay, and it could happen, and you take the job
I
because...
thought we were taking this to sitcom. That's what Danny told me. That's why I'm here.
I know. Well, I was going to go to Tig Notaro to EP until Danny. Let me tell you what happened tonight. I don't want to make Tig Notaro's life miserable. I want her to be okay. She had cancer. And Dan comes in with a big agenda. He puts it in front of me, and he goes, Tig Notaro, #1 special, and it's for paste. I'm thinking it's not rolling, whatever. So it gets me mad, of course, and I'm like, whatever. And then we get to the point where we play the tape, and he knows what it is because he heard the tape before. And because he fast-forwarded to the exact part where you knew we'd hate it.
The beginning.
No, you
start.
fast-forwarded.
No, I didn't. I did
Yes,
the
you did.
start.
No, you went.
And then when there was no laughs at the start, I went to the middle.
Dan, you went right to the...
She wasn't funny on the DirecTV show either.
Okay. Dan, you went right to the beginning of a story.
And I'm a cancer survivor. I can say whatever.
And you're not funny
because of
either.
my objection.
No, you knew. Listen, my point is, I'd like to be phony because I don't want. But if you, I'm also a comedian.
She's not funny.
With other. Well, what is your agenda with her?
I don't know.
Why do you
She's
dislike her so
funny.
much? Well, you were like this with Amy Schumer 6 months ago. But
No,
now
I
you're-
wasn't.
Yeah, of course. We'll just be honest.
I just don't.
So why'd you say she was funny before,
Who?
Amy? Why'd you lie?
There are some really funny stuff in Trainwreck. There's some really funny stuff in
Let's
Trainwreck.
move on. His meal ticket just booked the show with Judd Apatow. All right, let's move on because we're just burning a lot of bridges here. This is bad for Ryan.
I happen to think Tig's special was good. It connected with me
You're such an asshole.
on a level that I don't normally find in most stand-up. I mean, when I watch most stand-up, you laugh, but what's a laugh?
Let me
It's so
explain-
cheap.
Again, I don't want to.
I felt she was sharing herself with the audience.
I don't wanna
It
harp
was
on this.
like reading a good book, or maybe watching Oprah back in the day.
A good gay book that had cancer. Let me tell you something. I don't want to harp on this anymore and make somebody, because I'm certainly not some genius, not by far, And I'm not saying I'm funnier than her. And I'm not saying my special's better. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm not. I don't know. But Dan put this in front of me because he has an agenda. So I have to be honest with you. Okay, this is a woman who is a professional comedian, technically. Okay, and she just got voted by some publication, Paste, whatever. But I have seen her around, and other people do put her on lists.
Yeah.
Okay.
The New York Times did.
okay.
As one of the top comedians
Did
of the
they
year.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Top comedians of the year.
New York Times. Okay, so all right, you just heard that story. That's a comedian on stage telling it. People paid to hear that. If someone told you that story at a party who wasn't a comedian, okay? If someone said to you, you're at a party, right? And you say, my friend Tig is such a funny storyteller. She's got a great story about Santa Claus.
Oh, God.
It's a Christmas party. Tig, come over here. And, 20 people who know nothing about comedy, they're not going to get accountants, whatever, sit there. How long before someone says something rude to her? Or should they leave? Or does anybody, what? How long before you go, this is the worst story? Like, she's not even the funniest person at an accountant Christmas party, is my point. Like, the guys in accounting probably have stories better, and they could tell them better.
And they keep their shirt on.
And the conservative.org. That's the whole point of the story was a message for what the fuck? Conservative. It's aggravating. It's aggravating. Because that's what really pissed me off. It's not just the lack of humor. That's indicated by the reaction of the crowd. You couldn't sweeten that up because it would be so disconcerting. And then there's Santa Claus. Ah! That sounds odd. It's the agenda politically. Like, what does that even mean? It gives me douche chills. Maybe he will.
I saw depth.
Yeah, depth
of soul.
I saw a Brussels griffon.
I like the McDonald's plug for no reason.
I know. I don't know.
Why was the McDonald's?
Yeah, we went to McDonald's and started eating.
Like
Because
she's ever eaten McDonald's.
By the way, that also. I don't know what's wrong with you. You do. Dan has a big hatred for successful people. Successful comedians. But you definitely put stuff in front of me a lot that you hope I'll get to. And
Absolutely. There's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, well, so,
But I'm sorry.
This time I fell for it.
At the end of the year, they don't put out top 10 lists. I'm sorry. I just made that up. Just something Dan Filato made.
Dan, I know, you're right. Every podcast, every radio show talks about Pace's top 10.
It was on the Huffington Post today. That's why I saw it.
I didn't the Huffington Post.
I didn't Google it. What can I make fun of Tig Notaro for?
Yeah, but there's a million stories that I'd probably rather talk about than Tig Notaro.
Well, I didn't say it during the show. I just said, hey, I just happened to notice.
You want to talk about that not during the show?
We could talk about the Bill Cosby perp walk.
Yeah, you got to put that in front of Bill Cosby. Before Bill Cosby is getting arraigned, and we're talking about Tig Notaro. Because I have a producer who has an NPR fetish, and a Brussels griffon fetish, and a Rick Steves fetish. We'll take a break.
Well, apparently, whatever I said about Tig Notaro upset Artie so much he had to leave the room, and I don't know. I don't know if he's coming back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's very funny.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, out with the old.
All right, let's talk about
the new.
Let's actually. Artie's on a phone call real quick, but you got a split. But let's get a little. This is what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We are gonna pay Boschetti to go to Star Wars and explain it to us. So that is going to be the gold. He couldn't do it today. We want him to do it today.
Oh, that's great.
But we're sending out best wishes to Mike's mom, who hasn't been feeling well. And so Mike went with her today to the hospital. But according to Mike, she's doing better. And we wish all best wishes to Mike's mom. And but your little review of Star Wars, what did you think?
You know what? As a film, it had a lot of holes. It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I saw the original Star Wars. I liked it. When Harrison Ford got on the Millennium Falcon, I was moved. But unfortunately, it was bad writing.
Yeah, it didn't just have that. And is it our ages? Is that why?
No.
But there were guys. I'm telling you, at the Empire 25, there were guys our ages that walked out thinking it's the greatest movie of all time.
Okay, so look, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo did not like each other for the entire first movie. It was a relationship that had to develop. It's called a plot and storytelling. That was not the case in this movie. In this movie, everyone was best friends from the word go. It was like, hey, I met you for 2 seconds. I love you now.
Yeah.
It's just lame.
Yeah, and I just didn't... it just didn't have that bond that, or not bond, but just that... the great writing, but then there was something else. There was something extra.
Am I allowed to cite any examples here?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right.
What do I?
So Han Solo and Leia are married, and Han Solo runs off.
Oh, spoiler alert. Okay, so anyone who didn't see the movie yet, turn off the podcast because I know Rich Roper made a big deal about this. He started to talk about it the other day in Chicago on the TV show, and people started calling the TV station. The movie had been out for a week and a half.
Who's the critic on New York one? What's his name?
I don't know.
He was at the cellar the other
I don't
night.
think Artie has that one on his cable.
Yeah, it just wasn't look, spoiler alert. If Han Solo is married to Princess Leia and he leaves, which he did, and then when he reappears, she's not mad.
Right, and they don't explain it.
She's just like, "Huh,
Yeah.
you old so-and-so.
And you
Nice
know
to
what?
see you again." And it's like, what?
I couldn't stop thinking of the Blues Brothers, where she was so mad.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, she was great in that.
Yeah,
That was fun. Yeah.
But baby, locusts.
Yeah. She just phoned this one in.
Yeah. It just
She didn't
seemed,
care.
Yeah.
She didn't care. There's just a lot of problems with the movie. Oh, well. What are you going to do?
But you would go see it if you were, if you had.
No, had I known, I would not have gone. I did go see it. I would not have spent my money on it. I would have waited for it to come on TV or something
Interesting.
like that. But now I feel like they got my $20.
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, I didn't pay for the full, 3D, Omnimax, Cinemax, Ultramax movie. I just paid for the standard version, and I was glad I didn't. So, but it was
They got me.
Oh,
They got my
man.
money.
But the funniest part was, right about 5 minutes before the movie started, an African American black guy walked in, and there were rows and rows and rows of like brokers and money guys that were going to see the movie. All guys, I would say between like 40 and 50, suits, whole thing. So they must have left work early. And this black guy walks in and goes, "Shit, don't you motherfuckers work? I can't find a seat in this theater." So that was the best part of the movie.
And the black guy was homeless.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was just looking for a place
Well, he
to
had a
sleep.
giant shopping bag, which means that he was going to sit there and eat sandwiches all afternoon, which is a New York thing. In Chicago, you're not allowed to bring outside food in. New York, you bring in bottles of wine, you bring in
not supposed
giant,
to, but
you bring in giant sandwiches. We're a more civilized city, Chicago.
Clearly.
All right,
Great
so
police force.
Tell us about your next couple of days.
I'll be at the Comedy Cellar on January 1st, 2016, ringing in the new year. You can find this all at rrcomedy.com. It stands for Ryan Reiss, but it's rrcomedy.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that jazz.
Outstanding. And as soon as Artie gets off the phone with Tig Notaro, we're gonna tape something a little later. See you, Ryan. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
Bye. We have breaking news.
What happened?
The Bulls won in overtime.
Oh, come on. Who cares? Nobody gives a shit.
I do.
No, I know, but that means nobody cares. You're one of those Chicago guys who thinks everybody cares about Chicago. Nobody gives a shit. Derrick Rose, what a fucking bust.
He didn't play tonight. He has
Of course not.
string.
Why would he play? Allergies, like. Oh, shit.
Well, I can't imagine that you would have allergies when I saw the caked on dust on your air conditioner there. So it's fixed, baby.
Right. Because it's warm. It's warm out.
I can't believe the weather.
There's high pollen in the air. And, it's crazy. Your body doesn't know what to do. Like, these allergies fucking knock you on your ass.
My eyes are tearing up all the time, and that's from allergies. I look like I'm crying 24 hours a day.
Well, I thought it was because of Brussels Griffon. Or sick. Are the Brussels Griffons? How old are the Brussels Griffon?
Tillman is 10.
Who's Tillman?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. But if you've been listening, obviously. Dan never told me this. No. For obvious reasons. I mean, he knows that this would happen.
You knew I had 5 dogs. I told you that.
No, you never showed me a picture of the dogs. After the Rick Steves thing, and now this other guy, Ira Glass, who sounds like a chick. Why do you like guys who sound like chicks?
I don't like Ira Glass.
You said, well, you know him.
I know him. We lived in the same apartment building for a year.
Why don't you like Ira Glass? I don't understand.
I just don't. The show's okay.
Explain who he is.
Ira Glass is a guy on NPR that has now the biggest
Explain what NPR is.
National Public Radio.
Right.
He has the biggest podcast in the world
No, he
right
doesn't.
now, This American Life.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't. Who? According to who?
According to the people that do podcasts.
What do you mean?
It's
Who's-
Ira
who-
Glass
who are those
and
people?
then ISIS.
Who are those people?
I don't know. Whoever does podcasts. And I think we're number
What do
4.
you mean who does podcasts? What do you mean? Who does? What are you talking about? Who says how it's? I mean, no one knows about it.
Oh, well, everyone knows about This American Life.
No, they don't. I didn't. I had no idea. And Ryan is a comedian. He had no idea.
I'm actually shocked.
Why?
Huh?
How-
And I've told you Ira Glass about 3 years ago
Yeah, but I don't remember that. Why would I remember that?
said he talked about the Howard Stern show and he said
"Who cares?"
And he's-
Everybody talks. I don't know. Why would I know? Would I remember that you mentioned Ira Glass?
because I took a picture of you with the giant banana.
You got to be kidding me.
in when we went to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, you got to be kidding me.
No.
You're kidding, right?
No.
What does that mean? What about?
And I told you that he collects collections of people with giant bananas.
Dan, okay, I can't even. What?
He collects
effeminate
pictures.
Guy, why? Why?
I have no clue.
Because it looks like a cock. I mean, come on. What? Yeah, I don't know. So how do you, for a guy you hate, how do you know all this stuff about him?
Well, I don't hate him.
You just said you hated him.
He's overrated.
No one knows who he is. How can he be overrated?
Everyone knows who he is.
Who overrates him? Who in your life overrates him?
People on Twitter, people might not know. Rick Stees, I'll give you. Ira Glass. Everyone knows who Ira Glass is.
No, they don't.
He's on all the talk shows. He goes on.
I saw him. I know. Yeah. Dan, me and Ryan don't know who he is. So 2 out of 3 people in this apartment today, the 2 didn't know who he was.
All right.
And you mentioned him to me, and I don't know who. And I never talked about a serial podcast ever on the air.
We
never.
Someone that listens to the podcast, tell us when we talked about cereal.
They don't know. They don't know. What do you mean cereal? They're going to think you're talking about breakfast cereal. What does he do? What's American Life? So he hosts a show called This American Life.
This American Life. It's
And
on
he's the
National
host. He
Public.
just talks like I talk on the show.
No, he does like stories from around the country. And it was also a television show for a long time. And now I think it's on current TV. It was on Showtime.
The biggest podcast in the world couldn't get a better deal.
Yeah. So
He's got half of the Twitter followers I have. Everybody on the Stern Show has hired. I was on Twitter. Sal, Richard, they all have more Twitter followers than the biggest podcast one. How do you explain that?
I can't.
Because it's a bullshit statistic.
Yeah.
It is. How do they measure it? What does that mean? Because a
I would
bunch of
downloads.
people say that. Downloads?
Yeah, I would imagine downloads.
So how many does he have?
I'll have to look it
He's got
up.
more than Mark Maron.
Yes. This American Life.
All right. When's the last time you checked it?
When Serial came out, they talked about how many downloads.
When was that?
About 5 months ago.
Well, that's in the news because of the guy, the soldier, was in trouble.
Yeah.
Because he was on there.
Now the second series of Serial is Bowe Bergdahl. or whatever
Right,
his
Bowe
name is.
Bergdahl, the guy who abandoned his troops, his company in Iraq, and was missing in action for a while, and they sent out search parties. But he did it on purpose, is the problem, and he purposely left. No one really knows the exact reason. I guess he's trying to come up with that.
Right.
And no one's going to believe him. But he got caught by the Taliban, and to try to save him, 2 U.S. Marines were killed trying to save him. And, they originally thought he got captured or kidnapped, but he did it on his own, so people were pissed at him. So he's
And what do you
looking
think?
at, man, I mean, he might get, he's in front of a military court, but he could be looking at life in jail.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't think he should get life in jail. You got to when you talk about taking away someone's freedom, you got to understand what life in jail. You throw that term around. I was in jail for not a long period of time. And I've done overnights in jail, but I was in jail once in L.A. County longer than one night. I was there. It's where I resided. For that period of time, people, if someone said, "Where's Artie?" He's in a cell in L.A. County. Taking away somebody's freedom is an enormous punishment. To me, and I had my own cell, and a very nice Puerto Rican gentleman who was right next door, and I've told this before, taught me how to make a pussy out of a roll of toilet paper. Yo, take out the cardboard thing. Take it out. Moisten it. Let it stay overnight. Put it up by the way. All right, put it up. When you come down, put it under the light. Let it dry a little bit. Then you moisten it again real quick. Lukewarm water. Then you let it moisten a little bit more. Put a towel around it, and then take it out, and then fuck the hole. You will not go back to regular pussy. It don't bitch. It don't complain. It don't spend your money. It don't fuck your brother. I think he had some fucking issues. Anyway, he was a born-again Christian. And, again, I have no problem with a born-again Christian, fucking toilet paper, if he's not getting laid. And we take away somebody's freedom, man. It is terrible. So you talk about life in prison. This guy's a young guy. No, he doesn't deserve it. It's terrible that those two guys died looking for him. But look, they're in war. The guy might have got over there and went nuts one day and just walked off. Well, you wander off. What do you? I mean, I was there. I see what these soldiers, they're walking around. One day you could just go crazy and go. I don't know. I'll go over here. Before you know it, the Taliban says, "Hey, now we have you." And he got tortured. He was missing in action. And they got out of there. Traded Gitmo guys, 5 Gitmo guys. Terrorists that we arrested are waiting trial in Guantanamo Bay there, and everyone's bitching about that too. Who are these 5 guys they let out? All right, whatever. I'm sure that's a negotiation I'd love to hear. What 5 guys? How the fuck do you discern what? Well, that guy, I don't know. That guy's pretty good. He's a pretty good runner. That guy does a 4.140. They're all batshit crazy. If they're really religious, you're letting loose hell. But we got a guy back. The old American thing. Nobody gets left behind. Except I think Francis Ford Coppola left 2 key grips in the Philippines. It's just.
How long do you think he should get? He should get no prison sentence?
You got to remember, he was in the custody of the Taliban for a while. He had consequences to what he did. He was caught and tortured, and was a prisoner of war. That ain't fun. But I don't want to insult military guys. I love them, and they have that warrior attitude. They have to have it. They have to have it. A lot of people. I mean, I don't understand that either. But a lot of people, I think you could go from wanting to be a killer in a war to, okay, now I'm a nice, rational guy. No, you need a guy who will, with blind faith, kill for you. That's what a war is. You need a guy that doesn't question it. Where's the president want me to go? Well, okay, I'm there. That's our mission. These guys are special kind of guys. So when they're over here and they hear about this guy, they have one line of thinking. No, 2 guys died. 2 of my brothers died trying to get him, so fuck them. That's the attitude they have. So when you hear those guys, they're passionate, and they can make you think that this guy is a little more evil, or maybe a lot more evil than he is. These guys are soldiers that are saying he should die, or some say he should die. Or life in prison. So, I hear their voices, but that's not something someone you put on a jury. You got to think rational. I don't know. I quite frankly, if he did time, under a year. Little taste of it again. And then, he's going to come out vilified. I mean, he will be in, I'd say, real danger for a long time. I mean, he's going to need security the rest of his life, I would believe.
Now, do you know anything about the serial show that he's doing now?
I just know he's telling to a guy like me, hosts a show, and he's telling the story to him.
It's a Hollywood producer.
Right.
That wants to maybe turn it into a movie.
I thought it was Ira Glass.
It is not Ira Glass.
I thought Ira Glass did serial.
Ira. It's under the much like Mike Boschetti stuff is under the umbrella of Artie Lang. Yeah. It's under the umbrella of This American Life.
Ira Glass has an umbrella?
Yes, he does. So it's a Hollywood producer that wants to make a movie or some type of TV series or something about Bowe Bergdahl, and that's how. And even though he's been told, even though he's been told not to talk, he's like, Bowe Bergdahl is doing this.
Fuck you, right?
Right.
Not to why can't he talk?
He's been told by his lawyers not to talk.
So what do you think should happen?
Boy, I just don't. I don't think he should walk. I think that he should get, but I don't think he should spend life in prison.
No, he shouldn't. What he did is not life in prison.
Right. And to know the issues that
what is he, 30?
Yeah, our soldiers come home with, but I don't think he should walk. I think that there should be some, and he had that time under the with the enemy, but I think that he should go do at least 2-3 years.
2 or 3 years, that's a long time, man.
Well, you know what? Then you don't walk away from then you figure out some other way to do things.
Okay, you're a big
the breakdown of military command. So everybody's just going to walk away now.
All of a sudden, you're Mr. Military.
I'm not Mr. Military. That's why.
Okay, fine. So 2 or 3 years. 3 years the guy should get.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. That's a long time, man.
Hey,
come out a different guy.
So let's just So whatever we do in our life, we have no consequences.
I say that. I said 3 years is. I said. What does that mean? I just told you. First of all, he's already had major consequences for what he did.
Yeah, but he walked away from it. It wasn't like he was captured. He walked out of the base,
and then he got captured.
Right, but that wasn't. So
what do you mean? So that's consequences for what he did.
Yeah, he walked away. He
got captured by the Taliban.
Okay, well, tough.
Tough?
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
All right. So you know what it's like to be a soldier over there, and you know what they never go a little crazy. You see that this guy might have went nuts over there. You wouldn't have sympathy for that?
That I'm sure that there are.
You wouldn't have sympathy for a guy who went crazy one day and said, "I got to get out of here."
I'm sure that there are services over there.
Oh yeah, where are they?
Who knows?
Okay, right. There's no services over there. He probably went crazy one day. He went nuts, and he walked off.
But you have to,
all right.
I'm going to have a party on your deck and have 10 people out there and have them drinking.
Might be the worst analogy I've ever heard.
And
what does that mean?
What happens if one of them drunks and falls over?
So the premise is what? You go crazy and have a party on my deck? Well, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Explain that analogy, Dan.
There are consequences to. You have to think of common sense,
right?
Of not having a party of 10 people on your deck that are drinking heavily.
How is that compared to a guy in the war?
Because I would not have a party on your deck, and I would not walk away from my unit.
They're two incredibly different things, Dan.
Knowing that I will probably
different things.
Captured.
A party on my deck. I've never heard a worse argument. A party on my deck? What?
There's no draft. He joined the military.
Right. So what does that mean? Stuff happens.
Well, yeah, stuff happens, and you go crazy. So you go to your officer and say, "I can't do this anymore."
Right.
And you figure out whatever is going to happen happens.
No, what happens is
but you don't put other people's lives in danger for it.
I don't think he knew that was going to happen.
What, that he was going to go crazy? Yeah, he did, because he was talking to his dad for 2 weeks, and his dad said, "Son, do what your heart thinks is best." His, super uber liberal dad. And I'm liberal.
You're such a hypocrite.
Yeah,
you're liberal. You're not liberal.
I'm liberal.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Do what your heart says do, son. Okay, thanks, Dad. That's really good advice. They should put the dad in prison for a year.
What's wrong with that advice?
Because you signed a contract to be in the military.
Okay.
And you knew that there was a war going on.
Okay, Schwarzkopf. All right. You know what some guys do if they don't walk off? You know what some guys do if they don't get out of there because they're going crazy? They come home and shoot people. That's what fucking happens. He probably felt he's going nuts. Okay? And what happens if you don't If you don't walk off, I'm happy he walked off and maybe became a normal person again. Because he was probably going down a road mentally that happens to maybe 40% of those guys, more. And if he didn't walk off, he would have become a raving lunatic who would have came here maybe and shot up 50 people. That's what happens. That's what no one's talking about. You know yourself. You feel like you're going crazy. You know, I mean, I was there for 8 days. I was starting to lose it. You join an army, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how you're going to react in a situation like that. And a lot of them go crazy. And you know who didn't walk off? The guy who killed Chris Kyle. He stayed. That guy stayed. Came home and shot Chris Kyle. That guy stayed. That to me is to me it's brave. To me it's brave because you're gonna face all this bullshit, all these fucking gung ho motherfuckers. You're a pussy. You'll put your men in danger. Okay, I'll stay, and lose my mind. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him for walking off because a lot more than 2 guys might be dead right now. And if you don't think that's a real thing, you're wrong. You put those guys over there, man. This country is still so ignorant after Vietnam. We're still the same way. We're still closed-minded to these guys. You hear these guys on Fox News, all these military experts. You should kill them. And we're not all you, dude. I guess you're special. You know, we spend time with these poor motherfuckers who are crippled and they can't, their head shake. That's a real thing. You have sympathy for those guys, sure. And you say you have sympathy for guys who have the post-traumatic stress. And then this happens and you go, what are you, a pussy? Yeah, I guess I'm a pussy. Where's the sympathy then? But maybe you went to somebody and said, listen, I'm losing it here. You got to get me out of here. I'm losing it here. And a guy probably said, fuck you, faggot. You don't think that still happens? Come on, man. Some guys go over there and find out that, you know, the mentality they had in the video game ain't them. They find out that they're not as tough as they thought they were. It doesn't mean they're an asshole or a bad person. It just means I can't deal with this. I don't have this mentality. It could mean that the guy's not a warrior. Maybe he's a little more of a deep thinker than these guys over there. Maybe he's not a killer. Maybe he saw like a guy get chopped in half in front of him by a missile and said, I got to get out of here. And no one's letting me out of here. So I walk off. Because otherwise, I'm going to lose it. And then when he does that, after he's met with probably people going, no, you can't because you're a pussy, and he does it on his own, comes back, now he's got more of it. Now he's got more people calling him a pussy. All right. His father one day had a little compassion. Maybe that's what the guy over there should have said. Maybe the guy should have been a little bit of a pussy over there and said, you know what, I'm going to deal with you on a human level. Not a guy who's got to go out and blow up a kid because he's holding a gun. That movie American Sniper. You think everybody can see what that motherfucker saw? Well, first of all, Chris Kyle, even that guy, he was starting to lose it at the end of that movie. You see, he's like, I'm ready to come home. He's crying. He's sitting there crying. That's one of the toughest guys who's ever lived. He's crying. So he made it through after killing children. Comes home, and a guy who didn't make it through mentally is home too, and he's having trouble, and Chris Kyle goes to help him, and that guy shoots him. Now, what would you rather have? The guy who shot Chris Kyle walk off, or take it in his own hands when it's met on deaf ears? When you say, I'm starting to lose it, and the people around me aren't safe, maybe I'm not safe? And you take it on your own to do it because maybe you think you are saving lives. And it takes balls because you're going to deal with all this bullshit right now. These warmongers over here. who think because you're not, fucking Clint Eastwood, you're a pussy. You knew what you were signing up for. Oh, come on. No, he didn't. You don't. You just don't. You could hear about it, then you see it, and come on, man. I'm just saying, maybe that's the case. Argument makes sense to me. When all the statistics are there, pointing to the fact that a lot of these guys come over here and they should have walked the fuck off, or they should have been escorted out. And you may get guys, doing it just to get the fuck out of there. Well, if they're doing it, the comedy version of it, you had Klinger wearing a dress and MASH. You know what? Let that guy go. If he's willing to put on a dress, let him go. He shouldn't be here. So to me, that's how I look at it. I look at it a little more open-minded. The fact that those two poor guys looking for him were killed is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And I don't expect their families to think rationally. They lost a child. You lash out at somebody. And I'm not going to put myself in their shoes because burying a kid is, God. But the other people around, these people, these guys on the news, or these military guys, they're all so ready to yell at this guy. All right. I guess you're better than him. You're tougher than that guy, for sure.
Are you talking to me?
What do you mean? I'm talking to people. A lot of people who sound like you. I'm not talking to you.
Sound like
if
me.
you're in your head, if you think I'm talking to you, maybe I'm talking to you. I'm talking to a lot of people said what you just said. You're not the only one with that opinion. And that's your opinion. This is mine. That's all. I don't know. You have to treat everything individually. You go and you see some fucked up shit, man. You imagine watching somebody kill a kid because he's got a gun and you think he's going to blow up? Or he's got a bomb on him, you think he's going to blow up? Think about that decision. Think about that decision you got to make, okay? 2 years ago, you were fucking playing football with your friends in some Iowa high school, trying to fucking kiss your sweetheart, getting drunk on beer and lighting off goddamn firecrackers. And 2 years later, you got a rifle in your hand, and you're trying to decide, should I kill that 8-year-old kid because he might blow up my friends there if I don't? Do that once and say, maybe this guy's a pussy for walking off. That's that's my point of it. That's all I'm saying. You have to have an open mind in life. You have to understand where this guy might be fucking coming from and where his dad might be coming from. Hearing his son going through what he was going through. His son's over there. His son's in war. What do you say to your kid? Stay there and fight, faggot. No, you say, you're my son. I feel so bad. Yeah, look into your heart. Maybe you'll find something. Pray. That's what these other guys, these warriors, all pray. Instead of saying pray, which sounds fucking worse, because it's a fairy tale, what are you praying to? Look into your heart, son. That's all I can tell you. To me, that's a good dad. That's a dad I'd like to have. But I guess the dad's a pussy too, because he's I don't know. Look, I might be wrong here, but to me, that's a. You walk off, man. You're not right in the head, because you do know. You should know. There's shit's gonna happen. That means you're not right in the fucking head. The point is, someone should have stopped him before he walked off. What about blaming the fucking guys he was complaining to over there about his situation? What about holding those guys responsible for the 2 dead guys who had to go find them? What the fuck? If a guy walks off, if a soldier walks off, that means he is losing it, man. It probably means he already started to lose it. And then when he walked off, maybe he got some peace for a couple of days, got his head back. then he's in the hands of the Taliban. And guess what? That's real consequences for what he did. No one's listening to me, so I'm going to have to get out of here to maybe save me and a couple of people around me. Maybe even people at home, like my girlfriend, the people I got to go back and who have to deal with me. Maybe I'm saving them from a shit life. So I'm going to walk off. And now I'm in the hands of the Taliban. Okay, it's a real fucked up way to look at it, but maybe that guy could be pissed off at the guys, who didn't listen to him. You're the reason I'm in fucking prison, getting tortured by the Taliban. And what happens is, the way this guy's getting treated right now, guess what? There's another soldier over there who's starting to lose it, who hears about this. And here's all these assholes on these soldiers, going, pussy, fucking kill him, court martial. And then what do? They suck it up because they don't want to be called the same thing. And, here we go. Now you got real tragedy. What's that guy capable of? I don't know. It's just it's such a fucked up situation over there, man. And the more kids are going to go over there and die now. We're going to send more and more people on boots on the ground, blah blah blah.
We are,
of course. More are going in. And guess what? There's going to be more pussies like this kid who want to walk off, and they're not gonna because of what's happening here. This guy's going to do time, man, because everybody's fired up. He's going to have to pay for this, these guys yelling out. You should have stayed. 2 guys dead. Should have stayed. 2 guys dead. Instead of someone helping him out psychologically, he might be looking at 60 years in prison. For losing his mind because he sees kids getting blown up. Okay. What a pussy. Doesn't mean he's a pussy. It just means he's not a warrior. I met those guys over there. They have that mentality, and you need them. You need those guys. But you know what? You're doing a favor to those guys if you get these other guys who want to walk off out of their fucking way. Let them fight and do what they got to do. But it's all for nothing, man. Now we got ISIS. Now we got to fight them. The Taliban is stronger than ever. Al Qaeda's coming back. We're sending people all over the fucking place. This maniac in Syria. And God bless these fucking kids. Just with blind faith, these warriors go over there because we tell them to go. We vote for people who tell them to go. And they go because they have that mentality. And God bless them. Thank God. But what are they going for? Think about it. And there's more kids who are on the TV, and Travis Tritt or some other country star is going to be going, 5 years. Right now, there's a 14-year-old kid who's going to be a commercial starring a country music star. He's with his mom right now, playing a Grand Theft Auto in the living room. And 5 years from now, he'll be, paralyzed. No arms and paralyzed. 19 years old. His mother taking care of him because he went over there. Because we're going to keep going back because we're fucked. We are, God, it's really scary, man. You think Donald Trump knows what he's doing, guys? Come on. I think Trump's hilarious as a comedian. I love for him to stay, but you need a guy who's somewhat presidential, for Christ's sakes. You need a thinker. World War II, those guys, my grandfather, those guys, they died and fought for something real. They saved the fucking world. There's a maniac. There was a clear enemy. A maniac trying to kill, believe me, after the Jews, he was coming for a lot more people. And, that was it, man. You needed to fight against that guy. And those people were extraordinary. Since then, man, it's all been poor young kids in this fucking country, the poverty-stricken kids. Because when you go over there, man, and you fucking, like I did, you shake the hands of those kids, and you look at their names, you know what you don't see? Private Trump. You don't see Private Bush. You used to, not anymore. You see Private, Rodriguez. You see Private, Jackson. You see Private, you see poor kids who go over there and, die and get maimed for rich guys. It used to be to save the world from Hitler. Okay, great. Absolutely. Now it's for rich guys and oil. That's all it is. And I agree, oil is important. I know. It's a big problem, man. Everyone who says anyone who says to you as a politician they have all the answers, they're nuts. Don't trust them, because they don't, because none of us do. This is fucked up what's going on. I don't know. Look, I don't know everything about this situation. I could be wrong, but I know this guy clearly. If he was talking to his father like that, and his father said that, I'm sure he talked to people in the military. And as a matter of fact, they did say he was talking to people, and those people, I don't know. What about blaming them? You gonna start throwing blame around? Maybe they're responsible for those two guys being dead. But you know what? Who's really responsible for those two guys being dead? It's George. You could argue it's George W. Bush, who went in to get Saddam for Daddy. George H. Bush, the father, he's got a book out now, and they released audio tape of the audio version of the book. He's reading his book, and he's reading notes. This is a brilliant part of it. I haven't gotten the book yet, but I want to get it because there's a great part where he just reads his notes that he wrote during that time in his life. And what was so great to hear in those notes and in his voice, he's one of those guys, right-wing Republican, he was the head of the CIA, vice president for 8 years under Reagan, and then president. And then a couple of his kids are politicians. One gets to be president too. So this is a guy who knows a lot of shit. If there's secrets America has, George H. knows it. And by the way, fought in World War II next to Ted Williams as a fighter pilot. That's a dude, man. Comes from money. I can't relate to that part, but hey, fuck, he stepped up, man. Rich kids don't do that anymore. They play beer pong and flee to Mexico when they kill 4 people in a car because they have affluenza. Don't get me started on that. It just was nice to hear the fact that he wasn't just this war-crazed guy, George. He was a thinker. He thought, and he said it's so fucking chilling. One of the tapes, because he goes, okay. He literally says this. He literally says what his fucking retarded, over-religious kid should have said years later, or Cheney should have said, or any one of them. Rumsfeld should have said. He says, okay. Generals, they want me to go in and take out Saddam. Take him out. And then he says what the key phrase, 2 words that we needed, and maybe there'll be nobody dead right now as far as soldiers are concerned. He said, okay, take out Saddam. Then what? He said it out loud. 2 words. Then what? Exactly. Then what? He wasn't going to find out. He was smart. He goes, no, we made our point. Don't fuck with us. 2 days, boom, boom, boom. Schwarzkopf wants to go in because he's a warrior. Schwarzkopf has that mentality. Let me take him out. Let me go. No, you need a thinker in charge of him to go, no. You need Michael Jordan when he grabbed Dennis Rodman. When Dennis Rodman started to go nuts with the pink hair, Jordan would go, stop. And Rodman would stop. Rodman got the rebounds. And when he was not good for anything else, Jordan grabbed his shirt and said, go over there. That's what Bush did with Schwarzkopf. He goes, no. He grabbed his shirt and said, come back. You're not getting him. Because he knew he's a dictator. He's not a religious nut. Saddam Hussein was not a religious nut. You could deal with him. He was a mafia don. He wanted money, power, and pussy. And that's what his crazy kids wanted too. And I hate the fact that they were raping people over there. They were terrible, terrible people. But you make sacrifices. You leave them in place because that's order. He knows how to fucking deal with those maniacs over there. And they listen to him and keep him over there. And when you need a deal, an oil deal, you don't have a guy who's a religious nut willing to fucking fly into a building. You got a guy who you say, hey, Saddam, listen, off the record, there's a suitcase with everything you want in it. We're leaving it by this fucking cactus. Go get it. And here's what we want. He goes, absolutely. A religious nut like Bin Laden, no. He doesn't think like that. You go to Osama bin Laden. There's a suitcase with everything you want in it. He goes, we're going to fly into a building with 5 people who are going to kill themselves and 3,000 of your people because 70 virgins are waiting for them in a better place. How do you argue with that after a guy says that to you? Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess. Well, can I call you back? Want to think about it? Or it's a lot of money. So, Bush was smart enough to think that, and he kept him in place, and everything was Jim fucking dandy. And then, something happens, the planets align. George W. Bush, over-religious, gets into the fucking office of president of the goddamn United States, and all his daddy issues. And the worlds align, and 9/11 happens, and all those motherfuckers get together and say, hey, especially George W., we got our reason. Everybody's mad, kind of like right now. Everybody's mad and scared. They want blood. And we're going to go in and take out Saddam Hussein. We're going to do what my daddy didn't do. I'm going to show him I'm a man. And everybody, Tony Blair in England, they were all like, what do you know? I don't know if we should do that. I don't know. They're thinking, then what? They're thinking what George H. Bush did. Then what? They're all thinking that, not him, though. So we kill him 3 days, bam, they take the statue down. Everybody's running around. Saddam Hussein gets caught in a spider hole. Everybody's going, great, we got him. 2 days later, what happens? Then what? The then what happened it took 48 hours for the then what George H. Bush was scared of. That. Now, there's no structure because Saddam's not there. There's nobody in charge. So all these Iraqi people are like, we need water. We need a deli. Our kids got to go to school. There's nothing. There's no electricity. Who's in charge? Then who do they get mad at? The guys who took out the guy who was getting them electricity and water. Us, Americans. They get mad at us. Guess what happens? People who already hated us, who are terrorists, see that, and they start recruiting people. Because they're all mad at us now. Come over here. These people that gave you a situation where now you have no running water, no electricity, and your kids are going to die. The evil Americans, we have a way to get back at them. We're going to organize something. That something became ISIS. And there's a lot more where that's coming from. It's a very logical thing, man. You can trace it back. It's not complicated. The then what? That George H. Bush, go back, if you listen to that when he says then what, it's so chilling because the then what that he was smart enough to realize would happen and was coming, the then what, and he didn't know what it was, but he knew something was coming down the road and it wasn't good. The then what part of it is ISIS. That was the then what. Probably even scarier than that motherfucker, George H. Bush, as smart as he was, even could imagine would have happened. The then what were fucking American journalists getting beheaded by Jihadi John. Holy shit. So the then what becomes now what? The then what is San Bernardino, 14 people shot, more to come. Paris, almost 200 people dead, more to come. They got us so scared we can't take refugees in like this country's done forever because we're scared. So we're going to let children, die. Because 1 in 4,000 of them might, get a bomb in a knapsack. It's lunacy, man. It's a lot to put on George W. Bush, man. I'm not sure, I guess the guy sleeps fine at night, but, and I don't think, if he knew that would be the case, he wouldn't have done it, but that's why you got to be careful you put in this power, man. They don't have to be evil. They just might be stupid or ignorant. I'm more afraid than stupid. I'm more afraid of stupid than evil. Maybe you can talk the evil guy out of it. You can't talk stupid out of stupid. But, oh, God, the way the planets aligned. Bush had a cabinet. And, the one guy, if that W movie's right, and who you can't trust Oliver Stone, but, Colin Powell seemed to be the one guy in the cabinet. It was like, guys, what are we doing? And Cheney, Rumsfeld, W, and good old Condoleezza, too. That fucking maniac. No, we got to go in. Got to go in. Get him. And eventually, Colin Powell caved. I mean, that's according to Oliver Stone. But I don't know.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
If you read any of the books.
Yeah, no, I believe it. I believe it. you know, and it's really because he was a soldier. You know, Colin Powell was a soldier, but it's important. But you know, Colin Powell was that rare combination of a soldier and a thinker and a rational. He's clearly a rational guy. You know, he loved the father too. But oh god, that really got to me when George H. Bush says, "Then what, man?" We're seeing the then what. You know, now we're in the now what thing. Now what is Trump? Now what is the guy who told Dennis Rodman you're fired? Maybe being president. I've hung out with Trump. He's a funny guy. He's a fun guy to hang with. He busts balls. He's not the president of the United States. And look, Barack Obama too, man. He's done a lot of fucking up lately too. But you know, no one knows what to do because there's no. All these idiots are. You know, they sound stupid when they say they have the. When they say they have all of the solutions, they sound dumb because who would? You don't know what the fuck's going on. Who could really guard against those two crazy motherfuckers in San Bernardino? You can't. It happened. So what do you need? You need great police. Those fucking police in San Bernardino, man, God, they became, they became our U.S. military. The San Bernardino police in California became the front line of a United States war that day. 14 Americans died. That's a shitty day in war, man, by anybody's standards. The worst day of the Gulf War was 5, 6 guys. 14 Americans taken out, a bunch more injured. And these fucking San Bernardino guys, they did what they had to do. God bless them, man. You know, but are all our police departments going to be up to snuff? If it happens here, there, wherever, are they all going to be that good? Probably not. It's a really crazy situation to put them in. Again, you know, I'm American. These are all just my opinions, too. And they're horribly uneducated in a lot of ways. It's based on what I know. And I looked at the situation with this guy. And, you know, maybe there's more to it. That's all. So anyway, it's just the main thing I have is, you know, those young kids who are gonna fucking go over there and get maimed because this is not ending. We're gonna see a lot more. Get ready, man. Especially if it's a Republican president, but Democratic too. I feel. Get ready. A lot more guys going over there. A lot more boots getting strapped on, and in those boots are your fucking, you know, your neighbors' sons and daughters.
They're not advisors. There are boots on the ground. They are kids that we're sending over there to.
Yeah, what are they? You know, they don't even know. They don't even know what they're gonna. Right. Yeah, they don't know who they're gonna kill. Who they're gonna. You know, you said killers over there. Great. Who are they killing? That American Sniper movie. Well, God, how well done is that? That one thing where he decides whether or not to kill that kid in the beginning. Is the kid gonna blow up his partner? Yeah, what a powerful thing. And he makes the right decision in that situation. But you go through that, and you made the right decision. It turned out great. Well, what do you just go get lunch and go see a movie? My God, that is nuts. People are going through that over there, and you know, some guys are tough, some guys aren't. But even this Kyle guy, you see, when he came home, as tough as he was, and I'm sure he was tough as there, he was starting to lose it too. Yeah, you can't. It's not normal. So my point is, this guy walking off the fucking, you know, the insane asylum might not be so fucking awful if he's trying to prevent something from happening that's out of his mental range at this point because he's going nuts in a place where a lot of people go nuts. You know, maybe it's somebody else's fucking fault. Anyway, I was supposed to just come on and say what? What was I supposed to say?
You were talking about the Bulls winning.
No, I was saying thanks to Ryan. And no, I wanted to say tomorrow night I'm at the Comedy Cellar, New Year's Eve. I'm at the Comedy Cellar tomorrow night. I'm the midnight comic. First comic of the new year. It's me. Midnight at the legendary Comedy Cellar tomorrow night. New Year's Eve, New York City. It's a lot of fun. David Tell's going to be there. A bunch of great comics show up on New Year's Eve. I was there last year, and Sarah was there. Sarah Silverman, Jeff Ross, me, Dave, and a bunch of great people will be there again. But tomorrow night, midnight, at the Comedy Store, I will be there. January 8th, I am starring in a Showtime special. I host a Showtime special. I taped in Montreal this summer called The Nasty Show for the Montreal Comedy Festival. I host that. Do a lot of material there with Gilbert Gottfried. And a bunch of other great comics. A guy named Jimmy Carr, real funny English guy, and on down the line. And that same night, I am at the Broadway Theater in Pitman, New Jersey, South Jersey, outside of Philly. Pitman, New Jersey, Broadway Theater, a charity gig for addiction that my buddy's putting together. So January 8th, Showtime special, and look for me live in Pitman, New Jersey, and South Jersey. And January 26th is that Patrice O'Neill thing. Me, Attell, Russ Maneve, Billy Burr, Jim Norton, Bobby Kelly, bunch of comics getting together for the great Patrice O'Neill's mom. Patrice, great comic who passed away a few years ago, and his mother, needs some cash. And there's other, it's not just for her, and we'll help her out in some great causes. So January 26th in the New York area, they haven't got the venue announced yet, but mark off January 26th. You want to come see about 12 great comics take care of Patrice's mom. Great cause. All right, that's all I got. We're going to try to do one more before we come back next Monday. This has been your Christmas bonus, Christmas vacation bonus, Artie Quitter, Artie Lang Uncensored podcast. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Danny Filato behind the dish. And we'll see you maybe before Monday, if not Monday. Take care, Bashir.